It all began in Angel Grove. The original team fought fearlessly, but behind their bright helmets were real emotions. When Tommy lost his Green Ranger powers, his friends watched helplessly as the Dragon Zord faded into the ocean. Kimberly cried. Jason clenched his fists, and Tommy stood in silence, powerless for the first time. Even when he returned as the White Ranger, that memory never left him. The fear of losing what made him a Ranger. In Power Rangers Zeo, Tommy became the Red Zeo Ranger, a new start, but pain still followed. Jason, his best friend, returned, not as a leader, but as the Gold Ranger. Tension rose, old wounds reopened, and when Jason lost his powers once again, Tommy's voice cracked as he said goodbye. It wasn't just about power, it was about friendship, fading like the light of their morphers. Turbo, the end of an era. Turbo gave us a heartbreaking farewell, the original Rangers passing their powers to a new generation. As Tommy, Kat, Tanya, and Adam drove away, the music played softly. Fans everywhere realized the Rangers we grew up with were gone. It was the first true goodbye in Power Rangers history. In Space, the ultimate sacrifice. Then came Power Rangers in Space, and sadness reached its peak. Andros, the Red Ranger, was forced to destroy Zordon, the mentor who began it all. With one swing of his weapon, the power chamber light faded, and Zordon's energy washed over the universe, cleansing all evil. Andros fell to his knees, crying over his lost friend. That single moment symbolized the death of an era, the final goodbye to everything Mighty Morphin built. Lost Galaxy. In Lost Galaxy, tragedy struck again. Kendrix Morgan, the Pink Ranger, gave her life to save others. It was the first time a Ranger truly died on screen. The team stood in disbelief, helmets lowered, tears unspoken. Even when she returned later, that loss left a scar the show never forgot. In Lightspeed Rescue, the Titanium Ranger Ryan was consumed by an evil cobra tattoo that slowly drained his life. He grew weaker. He wasn't fighting monsters anymore, he was fighting himself. When he finally overcame it, the sadness of watching his body betray him stayed with the audience. Time Force, love across time. Power Rangers Time Force was filled with emotion. Jen and Wes, two Rangers from different times bound by duty and love. When Wes sacrificed himself to save the city, Jen was forced to return to the future, tears streaming down her face as the time portal closed. Wes looked up at the sky, smiling but broken. They both knew they'd never see each other again. In Wild Force, the destruction of Animaria brought silence to the battlefield. The majestic wild Zords, once fierce and proud, fell one by one. When the Red Lion took his final breath, Cole dropped to his knees. For a man who found his family in nature, losing his Zords was like losing his heart. In Ninja Storm, sadness took another form. Grief for a mentor. Sensei Watanabe was turned into a guinea pig, but even in that state, he remained their guide. When the Rangers thought they had lost him forever, their tears said what words could not. Without him, they weren't just powerless, they were lost. Dino Thunder, facing the past. Dino Thunder brought back Tommy Oliver, the legend himself, but this time, the pain came from reflection. Trapped in amber, unable to morph, Tommy faced the ghosts of his past. Green Ranger, White Ranger, Zeo, and Turbo. He wasn't fighting monsters anymore, he was fighting regret. When he finally broke free, his quiet words, "It's over," carried decades of emotional weight. Sky's father. In SPD, we learned that Sky Tate's father, a great Red Ranger, was killed in the line of duty. Sky carried that grief every day, hiding it behind his discipline. When he finally got the chance to wear the Red Ranger suit, he didn't smile. He just whispered, "For my dad." Mystic Force. In Mystic Force, Nick learned that the people he had been fighting to protect were his parents, Udana and Leanbow. But before he could even celebrate, his father was taken again into the underworld. Nick's shout of "Dad" echoed through the mist, his power fading in tears. Operation Overdrive. The Overdrive team faced despair like never before when their powers were completely destroyed. For the first time, they were normal humans again. No suits, no morphers, no hope. Watching Mac, the Red Ranger, realize he was an android added another layer of pain. A boy built to be human, but not truly alive. Jungle Fury. Master Mao, their teacher, their guide, was killed protecting the team. His death haunted Casey, Lily, and Theo, pushing them to train harder, but also tearing their spirits apart. Every victory afterward was shadowed by his memory. When they finally achieved their full power, they didn't celebrate. They stood silent, remembering the one who couldn't see it. RPM, a world already lost. RPM doesn't start with hope. It starts with the end of the world. Humanity is nearly wiped out. Venjix controls everything. The Rangers don't fight to protect the world. They fight because there is nothing left to lose. Dylan's story is the heartbreaker. He wakes up with no memories, metal in his body, and the fear that he isn't fully human. Every time he looks at his sister's locket, his voice cracks, because he doesn't know if she's alive, or if he was the reason she disappeared. And when Dr. K admits she created Venjix, the silence that follows is heavier than any explosion. A young girl made one mistake, and the entire world paid for it. RPM didn't just show sadness, it lived in it. Samurai Jaden's secret burden. In Samurai, the sadness hides behind the honor. Jaden Shiba carries a secret that isolates him from everyone. He was raised knowing he could die, sealing Master Xandred forever. When Lauren, his sister, appears to take his place as the true Red Ranger, the team is shocked, but Jaden just lowers his head. His entire purpose, the weight of his life, taken away in one moment. He walks away without a fight. Not because he isn't a leader, but because all he ever knew was sacrifice. Megaforce Super Megaforce Gosei's Silence. In Megaforce, the team fights endlessly with almost no guidance, and whenever they fail, the sadness isn't loud, it's quiet. When the Armada invades Earth in Super Megaforce, civilians flee, buildings crumble, and the Rangers stand on the beach, exhausted and dirty. Troy looks at the destruction and whispers, "We're losing." A rare moment where a Red Ranger admits fear. And when they finally win, they walk away with no Zords, no Morphers, just memories of a world nearly destroyed. Dino Charge. Dino Charge gives us one of the most emotional betrayals in the franchise. Heckle, once a kind-hearted man, is split into two beings, one good and one monstrous. Seeing his past, seeing how he lost control of himself, that is the sadness of a man punished for something he couldn't stop. And when Keeper tells Tyler that one day he may have to fight his own father corrupted by evil, Tyler's voice shakes. A Ranger shouldn't have to choose between duty and family, but sometimes they do. Ninja Steel, a family torn apart. In Ninja Steel, Brody spent 10 years believing his father was dead. Kidnapped. Alone. Raised in space. His happiest memories frozen in time. And when the Rangers finally find his father, the reunion lasts only seconds. He vanishes again, sacrificing himself to protect his children. Brody's scream echoes through the battlefield, a reminder that being a Ranger doesn't protect you from heartbreak. Beast Morphers, the Fall of Evox. Beast Morphers cuts deep because the villain isn't just a virus. He's Venjix, the evil that destroyed RPM's world. The Rangers don't know it, but Nate does. The guilt of unleashing him again eats at him every episode. And when Evox possesses Mayor Daniels, Devon's own father, the Red Ranger is forced to fight the man he loves most. Devon's voice cracks as he yells, "Dad, please fight it." It's not a battle. It's a nightmare. Dino Fury, Zayto's final stand. In Dino Fury, Zayto carries the sorrow of a Ranger who lost his entire planet. Every friend, every mentor, every piece of home, gone. He smiles for his team, but every quiet moment shows the truth. He is a man living with ancient grief. And in the final battle, when he gives his life to stop the Sporix once and for all, the Rangers cry around him. Zayto falls with a peaceful smile, because he is finally free from the burden he carried for thousands of years. Even when he returns in a new form, the memory of his sacrifice never fades. Cosmic Fury, the last team, the last goodbye. Cosmic Fury ends with one of the saddest truths in Power Rangers history. Every Ranger must eventually walk away. Amelia becomes the Red Ranger, but the cost is heavy. The team loses Zords, Morphers, and nearly their lives fighting Lord Zed. And Zayto returns once more, but not as a Ranger, as a quiet, celestial guardian destined to watch from afar. He stands apart from the team, glowing gently, and whispers his final words of guidance. He can never go back to normal life, never go home, never stand with his friends again. The Rangers look up at him, eyes full of tears. A hero they still love, but can never reach. From the ruined Earth of RPM to the starlit battles of cosmic fury, Power Rangers has shown us that even in worlds of monsters and megazords, the deepest wounds are human. Loss, sacrifice, loneliness. And yet, every team keeps fighting. Not because they're fearless, but because they're brave despite the sadness. That is the true power of a Ranger.